Welcome back. I know it's been a long time. Forgive me. You know, been very busy. I know we all have our own things. A lot of major changes that's been in my life lately. So this video today actually comes from a request of a fellow subscriber. You know, he wanted me to explain a quote that I sent him about Revelation 12, and I've been thinking about this for actually a couple of months whilst I've been doing my work and changing certain things about how I should approach Revelation 12, which is basically part of the Bible that mentions the woman, child, and the dragon. And I've equated it after like a million times just thinking about it. I've equated it to the basic evils of life that's always going to face you outside, or outside the womb to be exact. Because you know, as soon as a child is born, you have this endless evil, this temptation that always follows you. Like, for example, you've got a dragon that's mentioned in Revelation 12. People say this dragon is war, conquest, the devil, Satan, the fallen angels. It can represent many things. I see it similar to, see, when it mentions the woman is paining in birth, she's given birth to a man-child. They say that's Jesus Christ. Some say it's Adam. You could say it's anyone who's birthed through the church, born again. It could be creation itself. It could be you, the follower of Christ. It could be. Back to the example. That woman could signify a kid raised at home, then goes out to the real world. And the dragon could be that life of crime, that argument that you have that leads into a fight. It could be that drug that you smoke. It could be time in prison. It could be you stealing outside. This is how I look at the dragon. This dragon is out to get you. It could be a honey trap. It could be a nice lady. Well, a seemingly nice lady dressed to tempt you, and then you bite that apple. No pun intended. I'm not trying to say ladies are all scorned. I'm just trying to equate that chapter of the Bible with there's this, what seems like an endless temptation following us. But the end of the chapter ends with, all will be good. As in, we're all saved. We are going to live a life of endless fighting, but we will be delivered. Or some say we have already been delivered. I don't want to get too much bogged down into the words. I want to get more into how I look at them, because there's so much imagery in the book of Revelation about heavenly signs. And the thing is, with heavenly signs, I don't think there's one way to look at it. I think it's impossible to just look at it one way. I mean, people have been debating about these signs, particular symbols, for centuries. And instead of picking one specific way, I just look at the correlation, or what all these different interpretations have in common. For example, when we talk about a a woman clothed with the sun. It could be talking about the earth. Seeing as some people call their women their earth. The same way, how can you say, the church, as in like the people of God, is called the bride that Jesus came to. There's so many ways of looking at it that when you pick one way to look in the book of Revelations, someone else can see it from another way. Essentially, I like to believe that they all exist. Your perception is not all, if that makes sense. I wish I could say that in a better way. Your particular, or my particular perception of those words is just one perception. That's why I was able to give the example of the woman could be the household you've grown up in. And that dragon could be bad friends outside. Oh, come outside. Oh, we're gonna go and rob this house. I can't lie, I used to have friends like this. Not to cast judge on them. I was just as bad as them. You know, there was a time when I used to dabble in crime from 14 years old up to, I don't know, up to 19, 20. Way before I'd done YouTube. That's why I'm able to relate that chapter to life in general. My mother and father raised me to be respectful. Yes, I did learn bad habits from mum and dad, but at the same time, primarily I was taught to do good things. I wasn't raised in a bad way. I wasn't raised to steal or to hurt people. I was told to stick up for myself and stand by principles that you can find in the Bible in many cultures. What I did outside the home was my choice. That dragon was waiting for me outside. No matter how I used to blame certain people as a teenager, essentially, that was my choice. I could have just gone straight to school instead of skipping school sometimes. Actually, a lot of times I skipped school to do things that had nothing to do with what my parents wanted for me. My parents didn't want me potentially risking going to prison, but that's what I was doing. Sad thing is, which is another part that it mentions in chapter 12 specifically, is it says when that man-child is born and the dragon is waiting for that child, there's an angel, or let's just say that man-child is taken to God and the woman flees into the wilderness, right? I see that, there's many ways of seeing that, but I see it as a way, you see the same way a person goes into crime or a person does something bad, but there's a chance given to them. Not always, sometimes you die, and that's it. Sometimes you do life in prison. But many times in life, you are given a second chance. Many times in life, you are still living. You're not dead. I don't think for 1 minute that Satan or the devil wants you alive. But he can't kill you. You can only kill yourself. Because the scripture, in my belief, the scripture has already told you, you have been saved. You will be saved. You have been saved. The past, present, future, all in one. I don't believe in seeing it in just one way. As humans, I do feel like as humans we think we're too clever. There's not just one way of looking at it. has been done, it is being done, and it will be done. I lost my thought. I lost my thought a little bit. But let me go back to when I was a teenager. About the part where I'm trying to relate it to the man-child, which can be seen as Jesus. It can be seen as a follower of Christ. Goes to the right hand of the Father. Because even though I had that temptation outside, we still have temptation to this day, but it's smaller or in different forms. I still had that inner teaching, that inner fear. I remember when I was doing something bad, I can't pretend like I never thought about my mother or certain people that had taught me good things. When I used to do certain things, I always feared being arrested. Why did I fear being arrested? Because of a sort of fear of God. Or a fear of my mother who feared God. I was well read in the Bible, but there was this almost like disobedience to God, which it became like a habit. So I'll be doing something bad, but I wouldn't think about what could be watching me or God watching me. I didn't care about God, but I guess I wasn't a good servant. I wasn't being obedient. I was chasing the desires of earth, whether it was chasing a girl because she looked good, which I've done, I think many men have done many times. I was chasing money. I was chasing the respect of men, but not for the good things. I wasn't chasing the respect of men because of the love of God. I was chasing the respect of men. That's a hard one to think. So I was chasing the respect of men. For what reason? I really don't know. When I look back, because I don't think the same way, I really actually don't know why I wanted to do that. I wanted to respect. I remember being a teenager in Brixton. I wanted respect. Like, it was this sort of image. I wanted people to fear me. And when I look back, that's like a devilish trait. That doesn't seem to have anything to do with love. Nothing at all. Apologies for the gaps, because as I'm speaking, I'm reflecting. Because I never thought I'd really speak about that side of me. But that chapter in Revelations, chapter 12, I read it, it's almost like an obsession. I can't stop reading it, because it just represents what we're dealing with today, or what we've been dealing with in the past. The hardest thing to read about that book is it's not in chronological order. It's almost like a summary. It's just giving you a quick history. Some people say it's talking about the future, or it's giving you a quick summary of the past. Because it also mentions Satan's war in heaven before being cast down. Because it says something about wiping a third of the stars, which represents a third of the angels who also rebelled against God. So essentially, when I was a teenager, when I decided not to listen to my parents, honor the commandments, like it says in the end of the chapter, those who follow the commandments, I was essentially choosing to dance with the devil. I was choosing to follow the dragon or get eaten by the dragon. But we can't be. You can only try to be, but you can't be. That's just my belief. But there's people who stay there. Either they don't want to see the light, or I don't believe in being too far to see the light, but it's far away. They can't see the light. Because there was a time where I could say, I did it. I did enjoy the darkness, but I came from a good place. Like many people, you come from a good place, but the deeper you go, you get used to it. It becomes, you have a higher tolerance. It becomes life. And if you don't remember where you come from, sometimes you could be lost forever. Anyways, I don't know if that person who requested this video, I don't know if that answers how I see chapter 12, but I went off into a bit of a tangent. That's just how I relate it to life. There's many ways. There's so much symbolism that to break it down, I think it would take hours. I think I would actually need the Bible with me to go through how I see each line, but in general, that's how I see chapter 12. Just giving a brief history of time and the spiritual warfare that we're going through. But with faith, we're all good. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I'll leave it there. Peace out.